So that was our experience at the movie theater where we watched Avengers Endgame. The very first night it was available for us to see. Huge, huge, huge spoiler alert here. We're going to talk about stuff that happened in the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, stop watching now. We're going to talk about stuff that happened in Avengers Endgame. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to move away.
But before you do that, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Sure.
And turn on your notification bells before that 30-second timer is
Okay.
up, which would be about now.
3, 2, 1. Got it. Let's talk about the movie. Pearson, what was your favorite part?
That's America's ass. That's got to be my favorite part.
Okay, so there's, if you're still watching, you've already seen the movie, you know what he's talking about, where they went back into time and and Iron Man and Captain America saw Captain America during what was at the time the first Avengers movie timeline. I think it was, 2012?
Yeah.
And they were all talking about how Captain America's butt looked in his uniform at the time. That was a good line.
My favorite scene that was like an epic introduction almost kind of thing was when Captain America wields Mjolnir, which I have right here that I made.
Okay, so if you're watching this movie because you want to see spoilers but haven't seen the movie yet, what happens is Thanos is in the process of killing
Thor with
Thor with a blade right into
Stormbreaker.
his Stormbreaker right into his chest, and Thor's hammer comes flying through and knocks him off, and it turns out Captain America
Cap through the
was
Mjolnir.
wielding the hammer, so he is worthy, and Thor says, "Oh, I knew it."
Oh, I knew it.
Captain America fought then for several minutes with both the shield, about this size, and the hammer at the same time, throwing this, hitting him with that. Here, take your hammer. No one made that hammer.
Oh, if you want to see how I made it, so be looking out for that video.
So, Pearson, of the 3 characters leaving the MCU, which one are you most impacted by? Which one do you sort of feel the most strongly about?
I gotta say it's Robert Downey Jr. Because when I was younger, I used to love Iron Man. I always wanted to be exactly like him, using nanotech to like blast around, beating up bad guys.
Iron Man, in the movie, we see the damage that all of the stones do when they're wielded by somebody who's not quite as powerful as Thanos, and Thanos actually is pretty injured by it. Hulk tries it once. He's injured.
He's the one who actually brings back that half of that universe.
He brings back half the universe because he's wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. And how the Avengers win in this particular version of things is Iron Man rips the Infinity Stones off of the gauntlet, puts them on.
Without Thanos knowing, because Thanos tries to snap and
it
kill
doesn't,
them
nothing
all.
happens.
Nothing happens, and then Tony's like, "Ha ha! I have them now."
Thanos says, "I am inevitable." Snaps his fingers, nothing happens, and the camera turns. Tony has all the Infinity Stones on his gauntlet, and he says, "I am Iron Man." And then he snaps his fingers, and he destroys all the Chitauri and Thanos and everybody else, all the other bad guys, and it kills him in the process because it's such a powerful sort of explosion. So Iron Man is gone. Noah, of the other 2 characters, which one, we've already talked about Iron Man, which one made the biggest difference to you?
If it's between Cap and Natasha, it's probably Cap, because I've been a diehard, long-term Captain America fan, and you two both know that. As a kid, in kindergarten, I'm only like 12.
You are a kid.
But when I was way back when, and
When you were an even smaller kid.
when I was a smaller 5-year-old,
5-year-old.
5-year-old in kindergarten, me and all of my friends, because at the time, like, Avengers just came out, so I was like, heck yeah, Captain America.
That sort of leaves me Natasha to talk about. In Endgame, Black Widow has to sacrifice herself to get the Soul Stone, because if you recall from Infinity Wars, Thanos throws Gamora off the edge to sort of unleash the Soul Stone. So somebody had to trade their soul for the Soul Stone in this movie as well. This time it was Black Widow. So she's gone. Black Widow's gone. Iron Man is gone. Captain America is gone. Now, Noah talked about how important Captain America was. How Captain America ended up leaving, he didn't die. Captain America had to go back into the past to put the Soul Stones back where they, or
Not the
excuse me,
Soul-
the
the
Infinity Stones back where they
came
found
from.
them. And instead of coming back to the current time, he stayed back in 1943, 44, 45.
Back from when he originally became the super soldier he was.
He zapped back into time so that he could spend the rest of his life with Agent Carter, who was his love of his life, who he's been pining for the last, 12 years worth of movies or whatever it is.
And so when he comes back, he's an old, like 80-year-old.
That's a good segue. So we're going to talk about how this movie sets up future MCU movies, and that's a good segue because Captain America is here as an 80-year-old, and he has to hand his shield off to somebody, and it is Falcon. Sam Wilson gets to be the next Captain America in the MCU movies.
Which is interesting because
That's
in the
also a
comic
comic.
in the comic books, Sam Wilson is one person who uses the Captain America shield and becomes Captain America after Captain America dies.
I want to talk about a couple of other ways that Endgame sets up the next handful of movies. One thing that I'm pretty sure is going to happen, Thor is joining Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's
So at the end of the movie, he gets on the Guardians of the Galaxy ship and takes off with them. He basically hands the
rulership.
the rulership of the new Asgardians over to Valkyrie. So there's two things here, two things worth noting. Valkyrie could step up to be the next sort of Thor-type character. He didn't hand her the Stormbreaker.
Anything.
He didn't hand her the Stormbreaker or Mjolnir, but he sort of gave her the rulership of what was left of the Asgardians. So now she's in charge. So that could be a segue. She might be in the comic books. There is a female Thor that has been in the comic books for a long time.
And is yet to show up in the MCU.
Although in the comic books it's Jane Foster for the most of it, and
Yeah.
she's really not in the MCU anymore for all intents and purposes. But anyway, so we'll see a female Thor-ish
Thing
type
going
character. Another thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought was really cool was there was a scene when all of the powerful women on the hero side. So Shuri, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel,
Pepper.
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie,
Pepper.
even Pepper Potts is wearing an Iron Person suit. In the comic books, they call her Rescue when she's wearing her Iron Man-ish suit.
Rescue movie, question mark?
Might there be a Rescue movie? Another thing that could be happening is a women Avengers. That would be kind of cool, right? A version of the Avengers where all of the women characters team up.
Mm-hmm.
No, they should just switch it. One male, like Peter Parker, and the rest are females.
Oh, there you go. Black Widow was on the first Avengers team, so that makes sense. You could have a male character on there. Spider-Man is as good as any. I think, is there anything else I wanted to talk about in my little list of gee-whiz nerdy stuff? I think that's it. Next movie in the MCU that comes out is Spider-Man Far From Home.
I'm psyched for that.
All right, before the video ends, can I go
I'll
over
look it up.
something real quick?
Sure.
It's about when everyone comes back. It's when Spider-Man gets cornered by all those Chitauri, and then he says activate insta-kill mode, and then he just spins around, just killing everyone.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. He was Spider-Man who, after they brought back all the people who had been dusted in the other movie, Spider-Man came back and used insta-kill mode on his Iron Spider outfit. Any criticisms of the movie? We've been pretty cheerleadery so far. Any criticisms of the movie? I'll start. I think they glossed over time travel a little bit, and they spend 5 years trying to sort of keep things together and think about ways to solve this problem. And a rat steps on a controller in Ant-Man's van, zaps him back from the quantum realm. He shows up at Captain America's house and says, time is all kind of fuzzy down in the quantum realm. And then they go to
Tony.
Robert Downey Jr.'s house. They go to Tony Stark's house and be like, he just came back from the quantum realm and time's kind of fuzzy there. And 10 minutes later, he's figured out how to time travel.
They went to Tony. Tony was like, no, it's too dangerous. And then he, later that night, in the next 10 minutes of the movie, he was like, I know how to time travel.
Yeah. I figured it out. It's a gentle criticism because I realize it couldn't have been an 8-hour movie. I mean,
Yeah.
if you
try to
if
explain.
you drag on things for too long, it was already a 3+ hour movie. If you try to drag things on too long, you'll never get to the point where you're...
I know this is kind of a dumb criticism, but this is just my opinion. Marvel, why didn't you fix Thor halfway through the movie? I hated every second of, like, and in the beginning I was like, oh, that's funny, a fat Thor, it'll be funny for the time it lasts, and then he stays fat for the entire movie, and I'm just like, Marvel, what do you, like, I know a lot of people will probably like, oh, that was funny, that was a cool little thing to it, but I kind of hated it the entire time.
Here's the thing that maybe is a thing. Disney, which owns Marvel, now also owns the rights to X-Men because of some deals with Fox Films. What if they use the Infinity Snap to sort of retcon mutants into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? What if we don't see it on camera during Endgame, but what if they say when Iron Man used the Infinity Stones and snapped his fingers to sort of bring everybody back.
Maybe like radiation spread throughout the world.
What if radiation spread throughout the world, triggering mutations?
Because it was like the third snap. So like...
It was the third snap. I mean, like, so, you know, Hulk snapped, Iron Man snapped, Thanos snapped at one point. So what if they use the Infinity Stones to retcon X-Men into the MCU?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? We gotta get the X-Men into the MCU. So that is our video. So we've talked about what we thought about the Avengers Endgame movie. We've talked about what we thought, what we think it means for the MCU moving forward. We talked about a couple of small criticisms. Thor was too fat for too long. They explained time travel a little too quickly. If you like this, check out some of our other vlog-style videos. We have one from PAX East 2019.
Which was awesome.
Which was awesome. I also uploaded one of the videos from our previous channel of a paintball challenge involving Fortnite targets. And I probably will pull the quick sort of montage of Noah making this Mjolnir hammer onto the Triple Hound video as well. Check out our Avengers Fortnite Endgame gameplay videos. We have 2 of them up as we're recording this. We will have at least a 3rd one out before too long. So thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.